Okay, hey everyone, welcome back to MSC Inspire. So today we have Goodness with us, um, who is going, who is organizing Azure Camp from like
Yeah, hi
3 months.
everyone.
And
Good
there we go.
good
There's
evening, good
Goodness.
morning, good afternoon, good from wherever you're joining us from. I am Goodness Zolaru by name. I am a Microsoft student partner and I'm gonna be anchoring this event. So so as we all know, this event is a round-off event for Azure EKSU Bootcamp. They started 3 months ago. So I'm just going to invite Corey Day on stage now. So he's going to give us a very brief summary of what Azure Bootcamp, Azure X Bootcamp is, and and then we move straight away to the sessions. So over to you, Corey Day.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thanks so much for joining in. So before I kick off, I'll be connecting my screen, my slides with this call. So, of course, I will be using my slide as a guide to run everyone through
Corey
how
Day.
this will work. So I'll be sharing this screen now.
Yeah.
So if we can say hi or wave or raise a hand.
Yeah, so just share your screen and then we will get it up here. Um,
The screen is still loading up kind of. So a few seconds, then we'll get it started. So first of all, Kuride Bashiri, Microsoft student partner, a good student partner from Nigeria. So I'm co student partner at Ekiti University next to me in Nigeria. So I'll just be doing a quick summary of expertise and what we did between those 3 months of the bootcamp. So speaking of what really is Azure Camp EKSU. So Azure Camp EKSU is basically a 3 months batch of bootcamp, which was based on Microsoft Azure Cloud service. So this bootcamp ran from May up till this very moment. So it ran from May up till July. And we are pretty much excited to be rounding this off together with everyone on this call. So how did we get this? For a start, Olawore Goodness, who is a beta Microsoft student partner from the same university as me. So he kicked off by reaching out to professionals in Azure, so people who are very versed in cloud computing on the Azure Cloud service. So and a part of these personnel that Olawore Goodness reached out to were experts from across the globe, which included London in the UK. So then after I reached out to these experts, we set up a form and created a separate WhatsApp group where students who are interested in this virtual bootcamp would and sign up and connect with other students. So and this was set up in order to monitor the progress of each of these individual students. So going forward, I would like to do a quick shout out to the superstars who have been facilitating this workshop. So these superstars, as I said, they are basically cloud experts who are professionals in the Azure field, and we are so lucky to have them, and they are on any support. So I'll be showing up their pictures. You would see a number of them around this call. While the session goes down. So the first of these experts is Babajide Oluwaseun. So Babajide Oluwaseun is subject vast in Azure Identity and Access Management. So I recently used to be at Tech Experts before he joined Andela as a software engineer. So our second facilitator was Stephen Oyeto. So Stephen Oyeto is an Azure specialist who is also he doubles as a cloud engineer, a software engineer and a cloud engineer at Ion. And thirdly we had we are having some sessions with everyone of us on this call today. So what I want is the cloud solution architect and the servicing managers for Agri solutions in Nigeria. So, and finally, we have Noah Haba. So Noah Haba is a cloud operations engineer at Trilogy Systems. So all of these four amazing folks gathered around and rallied support with us and helped in upskilling this set of students. So going forward, why did we do this actually? So this bootcamp was inspired by the desire to upskill students around us. So during this COVID-19 pandemic, we sought a better way to possibly upskill and provide knowledge and mentorship around cloud computing to these students that we've mentored. So which is why we made the decision to to have a 3-month long bootcamp. Specifically targeted at upskilling students around the Azure Cloud service. So this training, as I said, was targeted at students with students who had zero knowledge about cloud computing. We sought to provide them with essential knowledge, as I said, resources and the right tools as well, which included access to cloud credits, the Azure free credits. Help kickstart and resources and the mentorship and the progress that we've been able to outline during the start of this bootcamp. So we are pretty much excited about what these students will be achieving in years and days to come. So and finally this. So after all these series, after we've been able to gather momentum and upskill this set of students. So by the end of this bootcamp, which would be sunset today, today's very last day, July 26th. So we have been able to mentor and train over 20 students from across, not just Ekiti State University as an institution. So we've mentored trained students during this workshop and bootcamp from students across Nigeria. And we've been able, to upskill them in cloud computing, as I said, then point them towards the right resources and the right community to keep upskilling going forward. So, I would like to highlight and spotlight a specific students. One specific student who, after learning about the contents of this bootcamp, so she went ahead to write an Azure Fundamentals exam. So, and I know a couple of other students who deemed it fit to write other exams that aren't Azure fundamental focus. So other exams around some mock exams per se. So this lady is Abidemi. So here is a tweet of her tweeting around how she got certified in Azure. So Abidemi joined us from the start since May and up to this. I believe Abidemi would be on this call today. So finally, a very big appreciation to everyone, the mentors, the cloud experts, the program managers, the global program manager, Pablo Veramendi, our regional program manager, Aaron Blum, and the amazing cloud advocates on this call, as well as the other MSPs on this call as well, and to every other students on this, watching the live stream on YouTube or anywhere. So amazing thanks to everyone. So that's it from me, the quick summary. So thank you everyone. Do have an amazing grand closure.
Thank you, Korede. That was a really extensive one, and that was really exciting and informative. So we'll just jump straight away to the sessions of today, and I would be introducing the first speaker for today. Okay, so just a minute. Okay. So I'll be introducing the first speaker for today, and the first speaker for today is Dara Oladapo. So a very quick and brief introduction about Dara. Dara is an Azure DevOps engineer, and he is also a .NET developer. He's a well-versed technologist, a Microsoft certified trainer, Microsoft certified professional with over 5 years formal and 11 years informal experience in the IT industry. So Dara Oladapo is a sought-after expert in developer tools and technologies on the Microsoft stack, and of course, as a Microsoft certified trainer, he frequently trains and speaks.
Sorry to interrupt, but can you share the screen of the PowerPoint, because I don't know, Teams is not showing the PowerPoint. Can you share screen of the presentation instead of sharing the PowerPoint? Sorry for that.
I thought I was sharing that.
Okay, that's cool. Lot of info going on. Make sure you tweet about this event. Join us on our Twitter handles as we tweet about all the amazing folks over here. Yeah, okay. Take it over, Goodness.
Okay, I think someone is still sharing the screen. Stop presenting. Yeah, I was wondering. Okay, sorry. So just a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So if the PowerPoint fails us, I'll just go ahead and introduce Dara Oladapo. So Dara Oladapo's core passion is to learn, teach, and impact technical knowledge to as many as possible. And in a very realistic approach to fulfilling this passion, Dara has media platforms and channels where he regularly talks about technology and development platforms. So Dara's lifelong goal is to speak about awesome technologies and innovations that drives developer productivity. Dara currently works at Microsoft and is on the Microsoft for Africa team as a customer success engineer, helping Microsoft customers leverage Azure and Azure DevOps for optimal productivity. So it is my singular honor to bring to this virtual on-scene stage Dara Oladapo, and is going to be talking briefly on a path for everyone on Azure. So Dara, over to you.
Yeah, thanks very much for having me. It's an honor to be here speaking with everyone today and to be in the same room with you awesome individuals. So I'll just go ahead and share my screen right now. Please let me know when that comes up.
Yes, we can see it.
All right. So good afternoon, good morning, good evening once again, whatever time zone you're listening to this from. My name is Dara Oladapo, as I've been introduced, and today, for the next couple of minutes, I'll be talking about some of the paths you can take to, be an Azure professional. Just a little bit of history, introduction, a little bit more into who I am. I'm a techie. I write code. I talk a lot about Azure and Azure DevOps. I train, I blog, I podcast. And I sort of think myself these days as more of a video producer than a developer. Because I've made so much videos during this season that I can't even start to imagine how I could do that. And also, I'm a saxophonist. I play saxophone quite a lot. Been playing it for about 10 years now. So some fun fact about me. But to get right into what I get to say for today, okay, let me not jump into that. Let me come back. So if you're trying to be a developer, you're trying to decide what kind of thing you can use to supercharge your career. I started off as a Windows Phone developer back in 2012, when Windows Phone was still, the in thing at Microsoft. So I was writing for Windows Desktop, Windows Phones. Then there came the time when Xamarin came along. I started writing Xamarin, but then I realized I should be able to scale my skill to where the world is going, because right now everything is on the cloud. You talk of major cloud vendors in the world. Of course, Microsoft Azure is like the leading platform out there. And most people ask me these days, like, Guy, how did you get started with this Azure thing? And sometimes I tell them, hey, dude, to be honest and fair, I did not go around looking for books to actually start using Azure, because then I was a Microsoft Game partner like you guys. So we had access to Azure. I just started, I put my website there on Azure, and then I started learning about some of the services that Azure has to offer. Then here am I today with over 4 Azure certifications, and I train people in Azure across the world. And people now ask me the sort of career I have. I'm a business person, I'm a software engineer, I'm a data scientist, I'm this and that. What kind of things can I do with Azure? And that's what I'll be sharing with us today. Sorry, there's no animation on this slide. I just listed out some of the career paths I could think that where Azure could actually help folks better their lives. So the first one is, as a software developer, Azure helps you to be able to get your apps outside there fast and easy. For example, you finish writing your app in any programming language you have today. C#, Node, PHP, Java, Ruby, pretty much any language. All you have to do is just publish it, and then the configuration of the app, all of the stuff are just out there for you to start using within a few seconds. Right? And you have to go ahead and configure servers, configure network, configure DNS names and all that. Azure gives you that power to get your app up and running in a couple of minutes. And there are a lot of demos out there in the world to show how that is possible today. Also, if you're into DevOps, you are the kind of person that you are in charge of ensuring that applications get rolled out easily to deliver better value to customers. Azure is there to help you in the sense that with DevOps, it's actually easier than just writing right-click, publish from Visual Studio and deploying your code. With DevOps, you are able to get your code from wherever it's stored in, either from a private GitHub under your desk or from GitHub, GitLab, any source control, and then publish that application to any cloud service provider you have, even maybe to your own private servers and all sorts. And it's sweet in the sense that it allows you to bring in a lot of technologies together to be able to meet your own business needs and be able to publish your apps right there straightforward. You have tools like Terraform that combines with Azure. You have open source tools. There's ARM templates. There's a lot of resources out there that a DevOps engineer can just get started using and then boom, get on Azure. To be fair and honest, I normally tell people this, even though sometimes they don't believe me. Most of the things I do in Azure today, I actually did not read any documentation to learn them. That's how easy and how fair enough Azure is to actually get on. So when I started doing DevOps, I didn't even know it was called DevOps there. I just, there's this feature online thing. I put a code there. I saw that I was able to deploy it. Then I realized, I'm actually doing DevOps. Then just right there. If you're an AI person, you're an AI engineer, you can train your models in Azure. There's data AI training tools in Azure. There's Machine Learning Studio. There are cognitive services that are, so if you're someone like a developer that you don't want to write your own AI models, you probably don't even have the experience to train your AI models. There are GUI tools in Azure that you can use to drag and drop and train your AI models to be able to get predictions and leverage that and get your solutions out there to your customers, maybe to yourself faster. Also, if you're a network and security engineer, this is one thing I talk to folks about, like, our data center is secure, nobody can break in and all sort of things. I will tell you that why not target those resources and make them save money and come to the cloud, in a sense that if you have a network set up in your organization, maybe a private data center, and I've worked in a lot of data centers where I see a lot of wires hanging around, you could trip over wires and fall and, accidents and hazards occur. You can take that stress off and actually replicate your network scenarios in Azure. And the sweet thing about Azure is, because it's a world-scale service, there are experts that are working 24/7 to ensure that the services do not go down, breaches hardly ever occur, even if they occur at all. There's SLAs to be met. You are able to actually get your security better, cheaper, and faster out there if you put it on Azure. So if you're a network engineer, you have your CCNA, CCNP, all the CCNCs. You can seriously take that skill and bring it out to the cloud to make your services better. And if you're a security engineer, you are able to better architect your solutions because the stress of having to manage some stuff manually has been taken off you, so you can focus on the more important things and ensuring your services and products are more secure in the cloud. Also, if you're a system administrator, there's Windows Virtual Desktop. There is you can configure a lot of VPN rules for your organization. How systems connect with each other. You can do all that in the cloud. You can manage identities. You can manage authentication and all sorts in Azure. And also, if you're a data scientist, there are data tools in Azure for you. For example, we have I don't want to start mentioning names of products now, but if you go into Azure and just search for data tools, you can train data models. You can do analytics on data, small data, big data, medium data, super big data. There's whatever range of data, whatever level of data you're bringing into Azure, you can actually get on with it fast and be able to deduce and get value out of it faster than having to worry your machine or your servers and getting stuff up and running. And also, the two last part of here is what gives me most joy, because I've worked with startups, I've worked with enterprises in the past. And if you're a startup, you might wonder, what does Azure have for me? I can just buy a $100 hosting per annum and then boom, I'm off and going with my business. The answer I give to such scenarios is these kind of platforms, while they are good and awesome with everything they do, if you bring your services to Azure, for example, let's say you're a startup that deals in agriculture, for example. If you bring your platform to Azure, the first thing you get is support. You get support from experts all around the world, because with just by virtue of having your service on Azure, there's a dedicated support team that ensures that you are successful and your services don't go down. Another part is there are a lot of services you can extend with. For example, storage services, AI services, database analytics services, security services. There's just a whole lot of it for you to benefit in Azure. And the sweet part is also Microsoft has programs for startups where you can quickly get up and running in the cloud at no cost, practically zero cost. Actually get your business up and running in Azure with that. And it helps you bootstrap your business faster and better with more security, and a whole lot of stakeholders will be involved to actually ensure that you succeed as a startup. And of course, if you're an enterprise, of course, you have the money. The sweet part of it is if you get on Azure, Microsoft has dedicated teams, premier engineers that ensure that your services don't go down. If you go down, it means they are not getting paid their salary that month. Well, just kidding. So what they ensure is actually to see that you are successful, basically. That is their primary job. See that your technology is up and running, nothing goes wrong. They might even go to the extent of, actively monitoring your services to ensure that they are proactive enough before problems occur to see that you can optimize in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ways before things happen, and then they can be more productive and respond to business needs faster. And there's just a whole lot of it. And these are just some of the career paths in Azure that you can explore today. There's a whole lot of it that you can explore. If you just go to azure.com, you can check out all the customer stories. You can check out all the business scenarios. You can check out some of the services there. And the sweet part with Azure is also you can get started for free with a free trial. You get $200 to try it for 30 days. If you're a startup, you can actually get way more than that. So it's free to actually get started on Azure today, to actually just play with it, to see if it's something that might interest you. And then you get on with it, and then I assure you, your life will never be the same again. Now, I sound like I'm preaching, but that is just simple truth about Azure. Since I got on Azure in 2012, I've not looked back, and I don't think I'll be looking back for the next 10 years. That's the truth of the matter. And with that, I give it a wrap up. If you need to contact me, you can Google me on Bing, Dara Oladapo. I'm on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. I stream, I do all sort of stuff. If you want to get started with Azure, azure.com is the website to go. And you can check out the documentation at docs.com. That will direct you to the Microsoft documentation website. And that is it from me, guys. Thank you very much for listening to my preaching.
Thank you, Dara. That was a very nice session. So straight through to the next session, I'm just going to introduce Stephen Oyetoro on stage. Stephen is a Microsoft certified Azure DevOps engineer. I'm trying to share this. Okay. Yeah. So Steven is a Microsoft certified Azure DevOps engineer. He currently works as a cloud expert at Ironstone. Ironstone is a Microsoft partner company based in Oslo, Norway. So before joining Ironstone, Steven has worked as a Microsoft Azure developer support engineer, focusing on cloud services like Batch, Azure API management, Azure Resource Manager, and Azure Policy. So Steven would be joining us from Norway, and he would be speaking on the topic jobs of the future. So I would just hand over to Steven now. Over to you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, goodness, for the intro. I hope everybody's doing fine. My name is Steven, and I'm joining you all the way from Norway. I hope everybody's doing fine. I'm having a good weather here, so I hope you guys are having a good weather too, wherever you are. So, it's nice to have you guys on the call, and I promise you I'm not going to make this session long. I'm just going to make it as simple as possible and as presentable as possible. Basically, what I will be talking about is about the future of jobs. And I don't know if you can see my PowerPoint. So it's not really, sorry, excuse me. I think I shared the wrong PowerPoint. Okay. I hope you can see can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Can you see the future of work, the screen itself?
Yes, future of work automation.
Okay, yeah, exactly. So basically, we've seen how industries have revolutionized all the way from the 18th century up to this very present moment. And there's one thing particular about human being: we always want more. So we've moved from the era of using manual, from the era of analog things to digital things. So we moved from the era of punch cards to solid state drive to cloud computing, a lot of things, a lot of innovations. So it means every time, every moment, a lot of things are being done, a lot of innovations are being done, and a lot of jobs out there are being created. But one thing is this: in spite of all these things, there's a future for everything, of course. Because without future for everything, I don't think that thing will have been in place in the first place. Of course, for everything that is present now, there's a future for it. So now, looking at job or looking at work. So what is the future of work like, or what is the future of job like? And I should have titled this presentation automation, actually, but I just want to make it something that will correspond to something that we can actually see, or something that we can actually target to. So that's why I call it the future of work. So now, how will the future be defined? Yeah, of course, automation will define the future. And like I said, human being, there's this tendency for human beings to always want more. Initially, when we're doing the manual things, we switch over to the automatic things. We have the automatic gearing system, we have the smart house system, we have everything is smart, everything. We always wanted more. So now, we've done all this part. Then someone now thought about it. Okay, I have these things automatically already. How can I automate all these? Okay, is there a way we can automate all these things? This is still the desire of human beings to always want more. Can we automate all these things without me being there? So that's where automation actually comes in. And if you look at the IT sector now, a lot of industries, automation is what actually defines everything. So now, how will the future be defined? Automation will define the future of work. So with the rise of automations and intelligent technologies such as robots, AI, machine learning, and others. So the pragmatic side for merging is introducing a speed of change and uncertainty that has not been seen since the Industrial Revolution. And what makes this speed of change to be possible is all about automation. So let me give you an example where automation actually comes in, and I will use that was career path, which is DevOps. Now, what's the idea of DevOps? A lot of software engineers, they came together and say, okay, can we produce software faster? Can we make deployment faster? And they said, hey, yeah, of course. Why should I be waiting for the developer to finish writing the code? Or why should the QA be waiting for the build? Or why should the operations engineer be waiting for the package before they deploy to the production environment? So why can't it be automated? So you have the build automation, the CI/CD, that's continuous integration and continuous deployment and development. So that is automation on our part. So you can see that this is one of the reasons why automation actually comes into the picture. So let me move ahead. So now, what will it be like with automation? Now this is just it. So with automation, we have firms and economies and governments and societies. They will be challenged and transformed. Because nobody wants to be left behind. If someone is doing something, the other guy wants to do it too. If Google is saying that, okay, Twitter is doing this, they want to be in sync with them too. Everybody just wants to do something. So you feel challenged. And the idea of automation is that it transforms the environment or wherever it is, wherever the automation is actually applied, it transforms it. So you can see that we have a lot of predictions, a lot of implications about automations. I think probably if all of us were very conversant with news and maybe media, we see a lot of these predictions actually coming in. So the thing is, what will it be like? There will be a lot of change and it will come in waves. And this even include technologies that has not been realized. So the thing is, we might be looking at different things, different jobs, different industries coming up in the future because of automation. So what will be the effect on firms and industry? Well, for the firms, if you act too slow, you risk falling behind. And if you act too fast, it generates unnecessary complexity and confusion, because if you act too fast, it means you have to be the one to set the stage, to do the testing, to do the implementation, and all those. So now, going to the, okay, so I just want to do a bit of switching. So how will automation actually affect jobs in the future? How will it be? How will it serve as a pointer when it comes to job? I'm trying to get my notes. So now, when it comes to automation, so the impact, although it has many impacts, and it has 4 impacts, but I'll be focusing on jobs. But before I actually talk about the impact on jobs, let me talk about the other areas where automation actually impacts. So we have the effect of automation on economic opportunity and disparity. We have the effect of automations on global markets. We have its impact on how work is done. Then we have the impact on jobs itself, which is what I just want to talk about in just a few minutes. So now, what will be the impact of automation on job? So we have human touch workers, cross-domain knowledge, teachers, explainers, and digital allied jobs will grow. We have single domain knowledge workers, physical workers, function-specific knowledge workers, location-based workers, coordinators, and cubicle jobs will shrink. So it means for the future of jobs, there will be some jobs that will grow, some will shrink, or some will even disappear a lot. Now, when it comes to options for emerging for the future of work, we have 30% talent economy for skills to task. We have 29% automation deficit. So it means there's a gap. we have 80% job transformation and 13% automation dividend. So when you combine all these things together, you can see that there's a need for automation and there's a lot of opportunity for automation. So now going to what I talked about earlier, which is about some jobs shrinking, about some jobs growing. So now, what I'll really talk about is for the student we've been talking to over this period of time. And what I want to talk about when it comes to future of job is for you to be thinking about, okay, where is the next technology going? Where should I find myself, or where should I focus on? Where and what should I focus on? So now, the future of work is often described in a dispassionate numerical and structural terms, and it leaves far too much to imagine and to what it looks like. So I should have actually created a simple scenario, but I won't be able to share that right now. I'm trying to see if I can get that to my screen because I've been having difficulty presenting it. But nevertheless, let me just go forward. So, like I said, the impact of automation on jobs itself. So I said some jobs will shrink and some jobs will grow. So as a student or as someone with a career, what your focus should be on is, okay, so what is the latest buzz? What is it when it comes to automation? How can we deploy, how can I make things work without me being there, without my efforts? So you should know that the idea of automation is you put something in the system and you allow it to work without you interfering with the system. So this leaves little gap for error, which is human error, or basically it leaves little room for error. So now, as someone that is looking forward or looking ahead, or as a student, you were thinking, where is my next career line, or where can I go to? And since I told you earlier that some jobs will shrink and some jobs will grow, so that should actually be your focus. So when it comes to the jobs that will shrink, I made mention of some jobs that require physical, that requires a lot of physicality, like let me give an example. Like I can't really come with an example for that one. All right, let me shift for that one. I can't really get an example for that one. So now, you as a student, what you should be looking at is, okay, what are the cross-domain knowledge things I should be looking for? What are the digital allied things I should be looking out for? So in terms of that one, I'll just give you a little example for it. We have robots taking places of human being in some areas. We have RPA taking care of accounting jobs in some areas. So now, looking at all those kind of scenario, you should be able to know that, okay, in the next 10 years or in the next 20 years, there won't be a need for my current job or my current set of skill. So this should give you a challenge that, okay, where is the world going? Where should I switch to, or what are the things I should actually learn for me to be part of this future of work, in case there's no need for my current job skill or my current job set. I think Goodness is on. I think I'm out of time already. Hello, Goodness?
Yes.
I'm out of time already.
Yes, you could choose random.
Oh, okay. So it's nothing much again. Like I said, automation is actually going to define a lot of things in the future, and you should be tailoring your career path to jobs that are in that area. And yeah, basically that's it. Well, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and introduce our next speaker. Okay. Yeah, so our next speaker is Jim Bennett. Jim Bennett is a senior cloud advocate for academics at Microsoft. Jim does things with IoT and Azure in the developer relations team at Microsoft. And he is actually focused on creating content for students' audience, covering not just university students, but also lifelong learners and kids to obviously make them successful with Microsoft technologies. So Jim used to have a career as a desktop developer in the investment banking industry, slowly rising the ladder in an industry where sexism and alpha male culture was actually rife and money was king. So luckily enough for him, he saw sense. he quit his job and decided to focus on something more important, and that is the community. So basically, this session covers how Jim decided that giving back was better than taking, covering his path from being a WPF, that's Windows Presentation Foundation developer and manager in the banking sector, to being a Xamarin expert, a published author, a very an active community member, and now an IoT advocate at Microsoft. So I am personally excited to bring on board Jim Bennett. Jim, it's nice having you.
Thank you, goodness. Thank you very much. Right, just give me a second while I share my screen.
All right, fine. All right.
I'm hoping this will pop up in one second. Right. Let me know if you can see my slides. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yep, you can see the slides, yeah?
Yes.
Awesome, cool, thank you. So, hey everyone, I'm really excited to be here, really excited to have a chance to share with you my journey, and also excited to have learned from everybody that has spoken so far. So, as goodness said, this talk is how I went from investment banking to developer advocacy, or as I like to think of it, how I quit my job and found my passion. So by way of introduction, I'm Jim Bennett. I'm part of the academic developer relations team at Microsoft. My job is to help anybody who wants to learn be successful with Microsoft products by making sure they have the content they need, whether that's online documentation, hands-on learning, videos, curriculum, anything that students, faculty, lifelong learners, even kids need, I want to make sure is available to you. And if you want to follow me, I'm all over the internet at Jim Bob Bennett on Instagram, GitHub, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Feel free to reach out, get in touch. I'm happy to answer questions at any point. So my journey into tech actually started a long time ago. Probably most of you haven't seen one of these before. This is a Sinclair ZX Spectrum. It's my first ever computer back in 1983. 48 kilobytes of RAM in this little puppy. I'd plug in a cassette deck, if you remember cassettes, load games, and start programming. You may even recognize some of the basic commands written on some of those buttons. And this is where I started from. I was 6, 7 years old, writing programs. My mum was helping me copy out listings from magazines, and I was hooked. My Hello World, the first program I wrote was 10, print hello, 20, go to 10. And I just printed hello all the way down the page. And my first hacking experience was going into a shop called Rumbelows, which was a local electronics retailer, and doing that on their computers they had set up and just watching hello stream down the screen. And I loved it, and I got hooked, and I had this real passion for computing. Unfortunately, my academic career pulled me away from that, because at the time there wasn't much option to be a developer. We didn't have computer science classes. We had IT, which was using Word and Excel, but I kind of didn't have any way to learn programming. I actually ended up doing a degree in chemistry, because that was what was available to me that I enjoyed, though it was a degree with a little bit of programming in there. And I ended up getting my first job building chemical information systems. I was coding in C++, using my chemistry knowledge, building applications to model chemicals, understand molecular structures, search for molecular structures. And I was hooked. I was properly into tech. I was reading the C and C++ Users Journal. I was reading Byte Magazine, Dr. Dobbs, contributing code samples to various online places. This was like long before GitHub. And I was trying to be as active a member of the community as I could be back in 1999, 2000. And I loved it and I was hooked. But then I made a mistake. I moved into the world of investment banking. It was well paid. And I thought, oh, I could earn some good money here being a developer in the world of the investment bank. And that was a big mistake. First of all, the technology was not exciting. It was really old tech. Everybody was really worried about upgrading to the latest version of technology in case things broke. They had software running that they didn't have the source code for, been running for 20 years, and nobody wanted to upgrade the machine it was running on in case things broke. That's kind of how poor the tech landscape was in the investment banking world. And a lot of investment banking tech is you take data from one place, you munge it up, and you send it somewhere else. So you may have a desktop app or a server process that would connect to a database, connect to a file store, bring the data together, somebody can manipulate it, and then it sends it off to an FTP server. And that's the majority of the banking technology. I was building desktop apps, but really it was simple forms for people to put in data that gets munged up and sent to other systems. Now, as well as being not exciting tech, it's very much a toxic alpha male money-driven culture. Sexism was rife, racism was rife, and nobody cared because they were making money. You could literally have sales folks who were making millions a year shouting sexist remarks at the female staff, and they could get away with it because they were making the bank millions a year. And the problem with that culture is it sucks you in. You see the sales guy who had a desk next to me in one place I was working at with his receipt for his brand new McLaren that he just bought because he was bored with his Ferrari and his Lamborghini, and he's being sexist. And you think, yeah, this is fine. This doesn't matter. I can crack these same kind of jokes. And it turns you toxic. And it made me into an unpleasant person that I do not. That's something I'm quite embarrassed about. It's just I do not like the person that I became by being part of this culture. It was just very negative. It was take culture. Now, I was reasonably successful. I ended up living in Hong Kong, fantastic city. If you ever get a chance to visit or even work there, highly recommend it. In fact, if I can get my little highlighty thing, that was my apartment just there, and it looked out all the way across the harbour. I've worked in this building here, I've worked in this building here, worked in this building here, even up in that big one poking up over the back there. And I had a fantastic time. And I was slowly climbing the ladder. And literally, if I was still there today, I'd probably be running front office IT for a small brokerage because my boss was going places and he was taking me with him. But it was a toxic culture. It really wasn't pleasant. And I would have hated myself for it. And I actually left Hong Kong because of the pollution and ended up in Bermuda, stunning island in the middle of nowhere, actually working for somebody who was pretty much similarly unpleasant, a similarly toxic culture. I worked for a guy who, well, he was such a bad boss. I thought he was just the tech lead. I didn't even know he was my actual line manager until 6 months into the job. And he didn't accept anything I did. As far as he was earning more than me, therefore he was right. He was a web developer, I was a desktop developer. He was right, I was wrong. I was working with our users, trying to build the systems they wanted. He disagreed, I was wrong. And I just hated it. The whole culture of constantly belittling people, whoever earns the most money is better. It was just horrible. I just could not cope with it any longer. And I realized that I was going down the wrong path. I needed to get out of this path. And I tried to think about what could I do to be a better person? And I decided it was time to actually change things up. I didn't want to take, I wanted to start giving back. And I wanted to get out of what I was doing. I wanted to discover technology I was passionate about and start giving back to those communities. And I was seeing a lot of these rise of strong tech communities. And I saw the rise of a technology called Xamarin. And this got me excited. For the first time in like 10 years, I was deeply excited about a technology. This technology allowed me to build apps for mobile platforms, for iPhones, and these new iPad things that have just come out, using technology that I already knew. I was a WPF developer. I knew C#, and with Xamarin, I could use C# to write mobile apps. I could start to interact with the physical world. And that got me really, really excited. I really loved this. I really wanted to do this. And the community was welcoming and so nice. And I just wanted to be a part of that community. And so I actually quit my job, took some savings because I've been working in investment banking, so I had a bit of cash behind me, and I moved to Thailand. Stunning country, love Thailand, but I parked myself in a co-working space with my wife and my young daughter, and I learnt Xamarin. I took 4 months out, and I just decided I'm going to learn this. But I didn't just learn it. I gave back to the community. I worked how to do something, I wrote a blog post. Worked how to do something else, wrote a blog post. Worked how to do something else, put the code on GitHub, made it a NuGet package, started sharing it. I started getting involved in online discussions. I was getting involved in the Xamarin forums. And it got to the point where I would spend an hour trying to answer questions on a forum, and then I would go and look for questions I couldn't answer just so I could learn the answers myself and help people out. And I loved it. I loved helping people. I loved contributing. I just wanted to keep doing more of it. So I started trying to get involved in events, started trying to give back even further. And actually that led to one of the greatest things that I feel like I ever achieved in my life. I was awarded the Xamarin MVP award. So I was made a Xamarin Most Valuable Professional. And I can remember the day I got the award, clear as anything. My wife and I were staying with my parents, and I got the email. I was up in the bedroom we were sleeping, just kind of woke up, checked my email, saw the email, ran down to my wife who was in the living room, grinning from ear to ear. And she was saying to me, "What's up? What's so exciting?" It's like, "I've just been made a Xamarin MVP." And it was the biggest buzz that I'd ever had. Just to be recognized for giving back to a community, to know that the work I was doing had value to people, gave me a huge buzz. Now, I've been working in investment banking. I've received big cash bonuses, not as big as the traders, but, still a good stack of cash. And I've never been that excited for a bonus as I was becoming a Xamarin MVP. Because with a bonus, it's all about, well, it's not good enough. I want more. If I'm happy you won't give me more next year, so I want more. Why isn't my bonus bigger? Whereas this was just a pure thank you for the work you do. And it validated what I did. And it was the biggest buzz I'd had in my life. And it was just incredible feeling. And from there, I just carried on. I got invited to speak at the Xamarin conference in Orlando, Xamarin Evolve 2016. This is me about 10 minutes before I was giving a talk using iBeacons. And again, it was just an amazing experience because I was meeting people who I'd helped in the community, and I could see the work that I was doing. I could see the value that it had. People would run up to me and say, "Oh, Jim, thanks for this blog post. This was fantastic. But I've got this other problem. Could you help me with it?" And I just felt validated. I felt like I was able to do something positive. Instead of being in an environment that just focused on money and control, I was giving something back, and I was proud of what I did. And I just carried on from there. I spoke at more conferences. I spoke at meetups. I started organizing a meetup. I was ended up living in New Zealand, and I organized the local Auckland Xamarin user group. And we were doing not just the usual meetups, but we were running weekend events around training. I was being asked to fly around the world to speak at more conferences. And it's just this amazing experience of giving. I knew that everything I did had value to somebody else. And this is all stuff I was doing in my spare time. I had a day job where I was building Xamarin applications, but in my spare time, I was contributing to a community. And I felt like I was working to what I want my daughter to grow up in, one where we focus on giving back to people. Actually led to me being asked to write a book, again, because people knew who I was from the community work I did. Manning Publishers, one of the top name publishers, contacted me to say, "We want you to write a book." And that was an incredibly validating experience because it helped me realize that the work I do had enough value that people wanted to literally pay me money to do it. Not very much money. I would have actually earned more doing a minimum wage job than writing a book. But again, it's that validation of what I was doing. I was able to contribute to the Xamarin community at large through the work I did. And it's probably tell by my voice. It's something I get so passionate about because I feel like I'm doing the right thing. And that actually led to this moment. This is the Microsoft Cloud Advocacy team, or at least as it was back in early 2018. This is a group of folks whose entire job is to give back to communities, is to make sure that the content is there, the talks are given, the communities are supported so that developers can be successful. I was asked to join this team. You can just about make me out poking my head up there. I was asked to join this team and be a part of that mission. And to be surrounded by names I'd known for years, like Scott Guthrie, Donovan Brown, John Papa, Sue Hinton, Matt Sokup, Laurent Bunyan, people who I'd known and respected for such a long time, to be asked to join them and help with this mission for helping communities, helping people grow, was an incredible experience. And as part of this, I've pivoted my technology stack. I now focus more on Internet of Things, and I get to help students. I get to help people who want to learn be successful. And it's such a rewarding mission to do this. Every time I do an event like this, or I help a professor put curriculum in front of students, or I run an event where I'm showing students how to use a certain tool, and I see the impact it has, it makes everything I do worthwhile. And such a nice thing to do that I can now, as a day job and work in my own time, I can give back to communities. I can support people learning. I'm not part of this toxic take culture. I'm part of a give culture. So this now kind of leads to a couple of points, because people often say to me, oh yeah, you've had a fantastic career. Do you have any points for me? Any tips that you can give me to help me choose the right career path? And so I've kind of come up with a few that I think are important. So the first one is find your own priorities and values. Work out what means something to you. Work out what's important to you. I thought money was important, and then I realized, no, money's not important. Giving is important. The more you give, the better you feel. You see this with people working in the banking sector who are miserable on the train at 6 a.m, miserable all day at work, miserable on the train at home, just so they can have a big bank account that they can't spend because they're miserable at work all the time. Whereas people who give and contribute to society, people who donate, who volunteer, who work for charities, generally seem to be happier. There's definitely something there. And science has actually shown that in terms of the levels of serotonin and dopamine inside your brain, working for the money, you get a short buzz when you get that money, and then the buzz goes away. Working to give back, you get a continuous high with a different type of brain chemical. So giving is definitely better, which leads to my second point. Giving back is better than taking. You feel better, the world around you is better, and when you start to get older and start to have kids and think about the next generation, you want them to be a part of a world where people give, not people take. So again, when you think about your career, try and think about how you can give back rather than take. And also be aware that the job you do may not train you for what you want to do. Now, I'm not saying you should code 24 hours a day. There are people who say you should always be coding in your spare time, always have a side hustle, always be coding. No, do what works for you. But just be aware that if you want to try something new, if you want to change and get out of what you're doing and rediscover a passion, you may need to put those hours in yourself. I had to teach Xamarin to myself because I was not working for an environment that supported my growth. So be aware you may need to put that time in. And then finally, you have one life. That's it. You have one life. Your life should align to your value system. Your value system will change over time, but you need to work out what that is and make sure that what you do aligns to that. My life did not align to really what my value system should have been back in my investment banking days. I let the sexism be rife. I didn't stand up for it. Now I stand up for it and stop that. So work out what your values are and make sure you align to those values. Sometimes it's hard to work out what they are. Sometimes it's hard to make your life align to that, but work towards it. Work out what's important, work out your value system, and then choose the career and choose the path that aligns to your values. And so with that, thank you very much for listening. So I'm Jim, and I'm all over the internet at Jim Bob Bennett. Come find me, ask me questions. I'm always happy to help. And with that, I will hand you back to goodness.
Awesome. Thank you, Jim. Okay, so I think one common thing I would say I've actually learned from all of our speakers here, and of course that is common, is that all of our speakers are community, even though some of them are not actively involved in community works and all, they have this spirit of giving. They have this spirit of giving back, right? So same with Dara, same with Steven, same with Oluwaseun. In fact, Seun and Steven were with us throughout the boot camp. I mean, it was so really impressive. So that is the spirit, Jim. That is what Jim's talk centers about, and it's really nice listening to your story. This is the first time I'm going to hear this from you, and I'm really so inspired and motivated. Thank you, Jim, for that session. So we'll go straight to the next session, and that is going to be handled by Dawood. So a very quick introduction into who Dawood is. Dawood Idris is a software engineer. He is currently and passionately creating products and changing lives with his soft and technical skills by training others in events, workshops, and providing platforms for coders and non-coders to think beyond the limits. Dawood currently works as a back-end engineer. Okay, I think he left. I saw one of his recent posts about changing workplace. So Daud is a technical instructor at Northern Labs in Ghana, and he also co-founded Tech Cloud. So Daud is a recent receiver of the Microsoft Most Valuable Person Award. That is the MVP award Jim talked about during his own session. So this award is usually given to extraordinary individuals who have gone beyond limits in impacting their communities and also displaying a top-notch professional knowledge and experience in a particular Microsoft technology. So Jim, over to you.
Goodness, I think you got cut off in the last second. Can you repeat what you said?
Yeah, Daud should continue, please.
Okay. So I think Daud is not in the stream. Hold on. Okay, I think Daud's here. Daud, can you unmute?
Unmute myself.
Yes. Hey.
Hey,
So-
what's up? So you know what is fun is that is my background okay? Because I'm like,
Yes, it's fine.
okay, all right, that's awesome. And yeah, can I take over from now?
Yes, sure. We're waiting.
Amazing. Let me take this my nose mask because I think it wouldn't help. Okay. That's cool. Like, that's the new norm. So I just have to adjust to everything happening around. But I'm so much excited to be here today with all of you because you've had like amazing exposure from Jim to Steven to I think Dara, and yeah, almost everyone here has given you much insight. And right now, as you've completed your studies, many of you in the chat, we are doing this because of you guys, and even those who are even computer science graduates, we are doing it because of you. The point is, you might have completed or graduated from the university, and it was more of theory. That's what you were taught all this while on campus. But hopefully, we are starting to get Microsoft student partners and a huge amount of other people who are changing how campus lifestyle used to be like. So now the bottom line is that some of you might graduate and then you don't have the technical skills, right? And it will now come to a point where you have to find an institution that can train you. And it also depends whether you have much money to be able to, you'll be able to pay for that. And as it turns out, we have a solution in your community for you. In Nigeria, Nigeria is one of the popular places, well known of everyday weekly meetups, and then other programs that are running for developers, right? So my topic today is actually bootcamp and when exactly to call it off. Now, if you do not know about bootcamp, I'm not going to share my screen. This is how we are going to take up all this session because I want it to be like more personal. If you do not know about bootcamp, just put it in the chat and let me know. But usually, bootcamps are organized to train people in technology. Let me put it as coding bootcamps are organized to train people with technology within the shortest possible time. So usually it takes about 3 months to 6 months in training folks, right? Now what happens is that at times some of this, we have institutions that take care of organizing these boot camps. So when a boot camp is organized, what is intended is that you sign up and then you pay a huge amount of money, and then they take you through the training. And whilst you go through the training, you might go through something like something that others might go through it for like 1 year. You will be doing it for only about 3 months, right? Which is quite insane. But the point is that you would be under pressure. You would need to keep up with consistency. For example, you would be taken through HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap, Node.js. You'll be taken through Python. You'll be taken through the Flask framework. You'll be taken through MongoDB. All of that in just about 3 months or 6 months, and you are expected to come out to be, a developer. Now, don't take my word for it. It is not proven anywhere. Some people come out of this situation and they are like superstar coders. Okay, they've never code before. So this program is designed for people who don't know about coding. So they take them through such frameworks, and then they are able to become web developers and then superstar coders within the industry. Now, one of the problems with this is that you might find some coding bootcamps, they make it like only for 2 months or less. I would say personally in my review that it is quite bad to attend one that takes like less than 2 months and then you are told you become a developer. Even if you maintain the consistency, it becomes like really, really difficult for you to be able to catch up with becoming a developer as you have been promised. Now, let me just go back to the institutions themselves. So the institution that takes care of, organizing these boot camps might organize it like, okay, within the 3 months, you might not pay anything, all right? But after the 3 months, they will find you employment and then, job employment. And once you are employed, maybe after your 3 months of salary, you start paying some amount of money to them. So there are two types of them. Some will charge you huge amounts of money for you to enroll in it, and then they train you. Then after that, if you become a pro and then you get job, you pay them back. Some people as well would prefer that, hey, you know what, we would train you, but you would have to pay this amount of money, right? So those are the boot camps we are talking about if you don't know about it. Now, the advantage to it is that CS students who go to school and graduate without the technical know-how, if you enroll in bootcamp, you have upper hand because you might have been exposed to data structures, even though you took it theoretically. But I mean, to pass data structure as a course might require that you understand a bit of what was taught. So you have like an upper hand, right? Now, to those of you who might not have even encountered CS before, right? I always talk about one of my friend called Kati, who was new to software development, had never heard of coding before. But he was just exposed to coding because he got to Russia, and he was just binging and googling around to find out opportunities that are available online just to entertain himself. And he came across coding, and he took up PHP as a language and Laravel as a framework, and he became a superstar coder. So like, there's always a space for you. However, you need to know exactly what you are going into, right? And one of the disadvantages about bootcamps, though, is that, they train you in a specific framework. So you end up getting knowledge on that specific framework. So you might not get knowledge on algorithms and a huge amount of things. So those are like, the disadvantage. However, I just want to assure you that some people, go through bootcamps, come out successfully, and they become like Microsoft employees. Not Microsoft per se, because I haven't seen one there, but I think Google, yes, I know of, a few folks, YouTubers who became like Google employees, and they actually went through bootcamp, but I haven't seen Microsoft. But I mean, yes, we have people who come out successfully. Yes, that was for a commercial break. Sorry about that. Internet issues. So am I audible still? Can you put it in the chat if I'm audible, or even unmute
Yes, you are
yourself?
audible.
Because I realized my network cut out.
Yes, you are audible.
Just a second. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Dawood.
Okay, I'm supposing yes. If
Oops, I think Dawood has internet connection issues.
that was a bit scary. On a commercial break, so sorry about the network that cut out. Yeah, but hopefully I'm hoping that folks are able to understand about boot camps, and then try to find ones which are closer to them and enroll in them, because one of the cool boot camps that you can actually enroll in is actually I think they are cool training like IPMC. Fox, can you correct me if there is IPMC in Nigeria? That's not a boot camp, but they run also short courses like 2 months course that really speeds you up. So I do not know for folks in Nigeria. I'm sure you can but put it in the chat. Give a question about how to proceed after this training. Because there's me, there's Jim, there's a lot of folks on the call that can give you a quick answer to how exactly you should start up, right? But I think one that become called you yeah, not to waste much of your time. That is about bootcamp and how exactly you can enroll in it. So how to determine whether one is not right for you. I just want to assure you that 2 months, less than 2 months, it's not a good boot camp. I mean, there are boot camps running around like, packed up with, a lot of, languages that you need to learn within less than 2 months. That is not so much promising, but out of 100%, you could have like 10% coming out of it successfully. Boot camps that take 3 months to 6 months with high, dedication, and then, making sure you keep the passion going, can actually land you to become a software developer. So if you want to just read more on boot camps, just check up on many folks on YouTube have done serious videos that explains, their take on boot camps. But after this training, what we really want to encourage you is that you take part in some boot camps. If you are new to coding and you've just been exposed to Microsoft Azure, I'm sure you are enjoying, like Dara said, you might have, if you meet Azure, it's an encounter that changes your life, but you need more than just that. So you will need to, take up your coding serious and then mix it up with, leverage your skills on Azure, and you'll be able to create something that can really change the world around you. So we are hoping that these sessions were great and that you took out, a lot from the training, and congrats to all those who were able to pass their exams whilst, taking up the Azure fundamentals from our Nigerian MSPs. So thank you so much for having me here. If you have any chat in any question, please put it in the chat. Goodness, do we have any question in the chat?
Yeah, we are moving to the question series now.
Awesome.
All right, so thank you. That was a great one from Dawood. So we'll be moving to the questions and answer session now. So we would be really brief because we plan to round off everything by 7 p.m. So, and this is going to be, of course, a virtual panel session. So on this session, we would have all the speakers. We have Dara Oladapo, we have Dawood Idris, we have Oluwaseun Ayodeji, we have Stephen Oyetoro, we have Jim Bennett. Yeah. So unfortunately, Aaron couldn't join this call. So start to who are really new to Azure or to IT, and they are like thirsty souls or hungry souls. They are looking for water to quench their hunger, and then food to satisfy their hunger. Water to quench their thirst. So the first question, I'll start with Dara Oladapo. So Dara is a customer success engineer at Microsoft, and BDME would want to know what a customer success engineer does. So she did not specify if this is within the context of Microsoft, but as this is a Microsoft event, kind of, you would be leveraging on Microsoft to answer this question. So what does a customer success engineer do at Microsoft?
Okay. Just for a little bit of background, so I work in a team called For Africa. So our focus is to make technology accessible to everyone in Africa. So we have various arms on my team. We have folks that work with partners and startups. We have the skills arm. So what they try to do is ensure that skills reach the ends of Africa as much as possible. We bring in experts from all over the world to come to different countries, different partner sites to work with these customers and partners. Sometimes bring volunteers directly from the US to work with customers. We have skills labs where we put in intents to work with different companies and all sorts. My team, we are the technical team, and our job basically is to, number one, support customers. Support in the sense that issues with Azure DevOps, with any Microsoft products and services, we help them sort it out. Another thing we do is we help them by upskilling their employees or customers or partners by training them, also delivering resources. We also work with communities by attending events, speaking at events like this. So basically, customer success engineer, just like the title is, just to ensure that customers are successful. So we actively learn all over and over again. So we are ahead in technology. We learn the new stuff coming out tomorrow. Before it comes out, we probably know a little bit about it, so that when it comes out and questions are asked about these things, we're able to answer them better. So basically, that is what the job is, to be able to ensure that we help customers with any issues they have, train them, and support them to be successful.
Awesome. Thank you for that. That was a great answer. So this question goes to Stephen Oyetoro. Now, okay, I'll just go ahead and read it out. Yeah, so Stephen currently works at Ironstone at Norway. So, and then as we all know that learning in Nigeria is on a really challenging level. There are lots of constraints. I think this is something we shouldn't hide anymore. We need help. Okay, so from being a learner or from being a cloud engineer in Nigeria to scaling all others and all challenges of this country to where you are now, working in another mass country. So can you share with us the challenges you had while learning and while growing up in your career path, and how you scaled through those others?
Well, everybody always have a story, and well, my challenges. Well, there were a lot of challenges. When it comes to Nigeria, there's the challenges of internet and electricity, really. So most time what I do is I try and wake up as early as possible. I sleep late. Most time I deny myself a lot of sleep. That's why I have sleep bags. Cause I actually know that I need to be up, cause I know what's in front of me, and I know I need to know a lot of things. So when I graduated from the university, I had a second class lower division, and I felt I can't compete with guys with first class and second class upper. So I thought that, okay, what will I do? So I tried doing hands-on stuff instead of reading theory. I started learning a lot of things, even things I'm not supposed to know. I started reading about it, how to use it, how to work with it. I think this gave me a leverage. So I think as early as 2015, I've actually tested, I think it was 2015 or 2016, I tested Azure for the first time because I was so curious about things. I was just finding things I can actually know so I can be ahead of my mates with second class, upper, and first class. So those are the things I was doing. So when it comes to challenges, a lot of challenges. I told you earlier that the internet part and the electricity part, so that's why I sleep late and I wake up very early. Then talking about scaling the others of Nigeria. Okay, I started working as a support engineer for VM. Then I moved to service bus. Then from service bus, I moved to developer squad. But what I found out is I wanted more. You know, I was tired of just sitting down and resolving customers' issue. I was looking for more. I was looking for deployments, talking to CTOs, CEOs, and telling them that, okay, this is what you need, this is the solution you need. So what do I do? I started learning again, even while working. I deny myself my break time just to read. So, okay, one thing I would just say is, it's not easy, really. To be ahead, you need to put extra effort. You need to put extra hours than your colleague. You need to deny yourself a lot of things, especially considering the situation of Nigeria. So you just need to be extra. Just trust me, you just need to be extra. So my extra time and my play time, my break time, I used to learn about deployment, about automation, DevOps, networking, a lot of other programming things like React, though I'm not using some of them now, but the thing is, it's good to have those knowledge. So then talking about the challenges I had here, I can't say I have a lot of challenges here, but the thing is, when it comes to the field of IT, there's always more to learn. There are new things coming out. Like Microsoft released Windows Virtual Desktop last year, and we have to ramp up on it as fast as possible. So the thing is this, you just need to be ahead. You need to put more extra hours. You need to deny yourself a lot of things. But at the same time, you need to have fun. Don't be like me. All right, guys.
All right. So I got two things from your response. That is being extra, and at the same time having fun while learning. Okay, so those two takeaways are, I'll keep them for my personal use. You also can do the same. Okay, so this question goes to Babajide Oluwaseun. Yeah, this man has been gentle throughout since the start of this event, and trust me, he is really, really loaded. Babajide Oluwaseun was part of the standby trainers that was with us during the Azure Bootcamp, and someone who also participated in that bootcamp and that saw how vast Shane was and how super intelligent and knowledgeable he is, right? So that person dropped the question here, and the person did not even add his name or her name. So the question is that I would like to know how long it took you to train yourself in cloud technology. So this person is saying, okay, and was it based on a personal training or through a bootcamp to like the one we just concluded? This person said, because after this training, I'm beginning to see myself become a cloud expert. So I want to know what to prepare for and the time I have to put in. Yeah, that question is for Shane.
Yeah, okay, I was muted. I forgot. Okay, so I think that's a very good question and a tough one as well. Okay, I think I would just try to share a bit of my experience because that's what this session is meant to, of course, pass through. Even while we're talking, while we are trying to answer some questions, I should relate it with my experience. So 3 days ago, so I have. Okay, before I moved to TechExpert is Microsoft global support vendor. I used to work for more. It's a startup, I would say, because we're just about 25 staffs, and then I used to work in multiple roles. Then I used to work as a pre-sales engineer, as an infrastructure delivery specialist, as a project engineer, as a trainer. I've been a trainer for a very long time. But then when we go to pitch about cloud to our customers, most of our customers then have financial institutions, some top financial institutions you have here in Nigeria. I just talk about cloud generally, and I don't really know much about it. Trust me. I just talk about it because, yeah, pre-sales engineers, that's what that's one of their functions as well. But then I know more about cloud, I think roughly 3 years ago, like when I entered, when I started, maybe 6 months before I joined TechExpert. And when I joined TechExpert as a support role, as a support engineer, it's opened my mind to many things in the world of Azure. And it occurred to me that cloud is just the future. At some point, I think I told one of my friends is that I wish I had started even very early. But then I think the passion to know more, someone that generally gives, when I mean give, I teach people a lot. So when I first started during that period, because I'm one of the first set of engineers recruited by TechExpert for support, we were trained by some Indians that they came into Nigeria just to train us for, I think, for about 2 months. And I think I found much interest knowing more about cloud. And one of the things I do is that I commit my time to it. Personally, to me, I feel what you want, you commit time to. If you don't give time to something, you'll probably not grow more in that regard. So I committed time to it, and I learned more by teaching. I learned more by giving. It came to a point whereby I was made a technical trainer, even in TechExpert. I trained even my peers, and I trained new engineers. When you want to train personally, you have to also try to invest time to know what you want to train about, what you want to talk about. I think that developed my competency as well. I'm not scared of tackling issues, strong issues. If I mention some of the customers I've worked with, you'll be dazed. Yeah, top customers. But then I won't just talk about them. But then those are some of the things that I think drive me, the passion to solve complex issues, the ability or the willingness to teach people. When you teach people, you know more. When you give, you know more. When we organize trainings like this, even during the bootcamp session, as easy as it would look like, I think there are some things that I remember one of the trainings where I had to go very, very, very lay, trying to make something across, trying to pass something across. I understood what I was even saying at that point even better. So two things for me. One of the things that helped me is the fact that I try to also impact people. I'm not scared of throwing myself into complex issues. I'm not scared of it. So those are the things that, of course, probably made me very vast in every aspect of Azure. And I'm also still learning. So that's all I have to say. Over to you, Goodness.
Awesome. So yeah, I got three things from your response, and one of those things is what Jim also talked about, giving back. In the process of someone giving back, in the process of you training someone else, sometimes I've also had this from a lot of trainers, that you necessarily don't need to know in depth of what you want to teach. Immediately you tell someone, okay, I'm going to teach you this, and then you dedicate time to it. That is your second point. What you want, you commit time to it. So immediately you dedicate time to it, you go deeper, you search for your facts, and you also learn more. So why teaching, why training, you also learn more. So that was a really nice answer from you. Thank you. So this question goes to Jim Bennett. Yeah, so Jim, as a cloud advocate, okay, I think this person is confused. You are a cloud advocate. You are also an IoT advocate. How does these two sync?
You know,
Do you get that?
It's actually, yeah. It's actually a great question. So the way it syncs is that IoT is essentially made up of two parts. This is kind of my favorite definition of IoT. It sounds so obvious, but it's actually quite important. IoT is the internet and the thing. It's Internet of Things. It's made up of the internet. It's made up of the thing. Now, a lot of IoT projects, when we first start thinking of them, we just think about the thing. So we will have like an Arduino. We will connect it to sensors. We'll start gathering data, and we'll get that working. And that's fantastic. That's a great way to get started. But what makes it really powerful is the internet side of it. It's the fact that these things can connect to the cloud and take advantage of the power of the cloud. So, for example, the most basic one would be a temperature control system. I have a thing in my house. It monitors the temperature of my house. It then sends a signal to the cloud to say, this is how hot or how cold my house is. The cloud can then look at that and work out what needs to be done with that data to control the temperature of a house. So is it too hot? Is it too cold? Based off the time of day, do we need to heat up the house because it's nighttime when people are sleeping, or there's nobody in the house? And then you have all this cloud logic that then tells the heating and cooling system what to do. So you have this kind of big loop between the actual devices and then the cloud where all the processing happens. And that's kind of all the exciting bits. If you're doing factory monitoring, you could set up a whole lot of sensors around a factory to monitor vibration of machinery, and then run AI models in the cloud to do predictive maintenance using that data to say, okay, there's a certain level of vibration in this machine over here, which probably means a failure. And based off our models, it will fail within 2 weeks. So you know you need to go and fix it. And even then have feedback control systems where this vibration exceeds tolerances, will switch the machine off, and all that's controlled from the cloud. And so it's just the whole cloud side of it is just all these things you can build on the end that takes advantage of the physical part of the thing. So it's business logic, it's saving data, it's visualizing data, it's running machine learning models. And then even when you get onto the more advanced things, which we call sort of things like IoT on the edge or AI edge, where you are training complicated machine learning models in the cloud and then pushing them to the devices. So the devices essentially run sort of offline, but you use the cloud to train AI models. Things like vision systems. You would build a model in the cloud to say scan for faulty parts on a factory line, and you'd build that model in the cloud, train it in the cloud, and then just push that to the device. So the device would be essentially dumb. It would receive a model, use that to monitor as the parts go past on the conveyor belt. But again, it's all kind of cloud controlled. So the cloud just brings this kind of second dimension to the work you're doing. Now, I admit, I do a lot of IoT. I'm rubbish with components, so I couldn't even tell you what a capacitor is supposed to do. So I do all my cool IoT stuff through software, and the majority of that runs in the cloud. Does that make sense?
Yes, makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So I've been seeing a lot of posts about July OT flying around. Is this your initiative or Microsoft's initiative?
Yeah. So it's so one thing we do at Microsoft is we try and have months where we focus on different types of content. So we want to get some great content out to people to learn about different topics, and we have people creating the content. We have great authors building good stuff, but we do kind of need a bit of help from marketing departments with money to actually help spread the content to a wider audience. And so our marketing teams like to have different months with different themes. And the theme for July was IoT, and that led to the great pun of July OT. We thought it was really funny. No one else does, but we liked it. So July is July OT. So this is our month where we've created a whole lot of great IoT content, which we're surfacing to as many people as possible. We started off with AI on the edge, focusing on using devices like the NVIDIA Jetson, so you can program image classification models in the cloud and then push those to an NVIDIA device, monitor a live video feed, and then report that data up to the cloud. So kind of great for smart home security. Then I did a whole week all about IoT for kids using the BBC Microbit, which is a small, relatively low-priced board that kids can program with block-based coding. And then I got that connected to the cloud so that kids can actually build sensors themselves, use like 2 nails and 2 bits of wire to make a soil moisture sensor, and then going to build these sensors, deploy them around their neighborhood, gather data, build up their own mesh networks using block-based coding, and then send that data to the cloud. Then we had a week where one of our embedded code experts was focusing on actually coding Azure Sphere, Raspberry Pi with embedded code, and then we're wrapping up with certifications. Because obviously you want to learn these things, you play with them, but it's great to have a certification at the end. And so last week was all about extra content for that, and then going to next week, we've actually got 3 days focused on all the stuff you need to get ready to actually take the AZ220 certification exam in IoT. So it's just like a whole month, we're focusing on IoT. And we don't just want it to be our content. We want to share the content from the community. So if anybody is doing anything with IoT, even if it's just getting an LED to light up, whatever it is that you're excited about with IoT, please put it on social media. Please use the handle #JulyOT, or one word, JULYOT. And we want to see it. We want to hear it. We want to share it with the wider community. We want to build blog posts around the work that you're doing and show off the stuff you're doing. So if anyone's doing IoT stuff, please put it on social, use the #JulyOT, and we want to make a big deal about the great work that everyone is doing.
Smooth. That was a nice one. So this next question is for Dawood Idris. Yeah, so Dawood, was there Adinka or Sonia would want to know if there was a role you applied for, and there are a lot of jobs we actually apply for that even though we don't seem qualified for that job. We just out of search for no jobs and stuff like that. I don't want to call it desperacy, but then out of you going all out looking for job and stuff, you applied for this role and then you landed an offer, but then you weren't qualified to do the job. So how did you proceed? Have you ever found yourself in that kind of situation? And if yes, how did you proceed with that kind of situation? So people will call this learning on the job. All right. So Adinka would want to know if you've ever found yourself in this kind of situation. Dawood. Okay, so it seems Dawood is not on the best internet. Okay. All right. So this next question.
Can I help you?
Yes.
Yeah, let me quickly open on that, because when you ask that question, it's resonates with him a lot, and all the jobs I've actually all the place of work I've actually been to, the first 2 months or the first 1 month, there's always this kind of imposter syndrome, Like I get to feel, am I in the right place? Especially when you see the people you'll be working with and you feel they are just way ahead of you, and you're just looking at yourself that I think I chose the wrong job. And again, you have this fear of the fact that you feel you are a fraud and you will soon be noticed. and then you try as much as possible to give many reasons for, okay, if they notice, if they feel well, and I will leave. If they ask me to leave, you keep telling yourself this kind of thing. But then the thing is that many successful people actually feel that way. But the difference is that when they feel that way, they don't give up. They try to learn more. They push themselves to learn more, to scale up if there is need to be. And most of the time, there are many reasons why we have things that look like imposter. Most of the time, most of us, we set a level that is too high for ourselves. We are perfectionists. So there is a project now, and then we want to perform it 100%. And most of the time, when we don't get to that level, we feel you are not good enough. And truth be told, personally to me, it happens to me. And let me just give you just a very short, just a quick one. Okay, recently I worked with GitHub through Andela, a developer support for GitHub. And my first 2 weeks was like, wow, why am I supposed to be here? And a lot of information are coming in, and there are some things I feel I don't know. And how am I going to adjust myself to all of this? And the level of kind of people that you're working with, actually. But then I discovered that I was not the only one feeling that way. Virtually everyone we came in together was also having those feelings. And it was just because it's a new role, there are new information coming in, and we just feel we're actually supposed to be here. So most of the time, it happens that way that I used to tell people this thing. When you see a job opening and you feel you meet some qualifications, some requirement of the job, if you're not fit for the job, you won't get the job. If the recruiter don't feel you are fit for the job, you won't get the job. But then the moment you get the job, and you probably feel there are still some skills that are lacking, it's the onus falls back on you to try and scale up for that particular role. And most very successful people that I know, they try as much as possible to go the extra length to meet the targets or meet the demands of the role they are working on. They don't know everything at once. So to me, this question resonates within me very much. But then what I just do is I try to learn more, try to meet the demand of the role, try to skill up in the role, try to skill up for that particular role. And then within 2-3 months, you're doing so well. So that's just, I think I've said a lot, but then that's just it for me. I don't know if anyone has some other contributions to that.
Yeah, I just want to say that I've been doing my job for 2.5 years and I still have imposter syndrome. I get invited to speak at events like this and I still think, why are they asking me? Why don't they get someone better? It's just part of life. There's a lot of great speakers who come up with good techniques to try and get around this. It's worth checking out. My mind, when you can see people's faces in your head and your mind suddenly goes blank. But yeah, if you set things like the imposters, there's a whole lot of good talks around imposter syndrome. Heather Downing does a really good one. It's worth looking at to try and just to help get over this thing. But yeah, we all suffer it. The first 6 months of any job, as soon as you see a message from your boss, it's like, are they going to fire me? It's just part of the way it is. But yeah, I've been in the tech industry for over 20 years, and I still suffer from imposter syndrome. So it's just part of life, unfortunately.
Okay, awesome. So someone actually say imposter syndrome is a phase that virtually everybody must pass through. So some people actually stay permanently in that face, while some people scale through. So that was a very nice and insightful response from Jim and Oluwaseun. So this next question goes to Stephen Hoyitoro. So Stephen Hoyitoro is a cloud expert. Yeah. So this person would like to know if being a cloud expert, if what it means is if being a cloud expert is a job role, is a job position, or what it means is being of having knowledge of IaaS, PaaS, SaaS. So that is what that person wants to know, Steven.
Hello? Yeah, so being a cloud expert, it can actually be seen in two ways. There's no right or wrong answer for it. Well, in my firm, it's actually called a cloud expert because that's a role in my firm. So that's what they call it. So that's why I'm a cloud expert. But within me, I'm a cloud expert. Yeah, because I've been working with Azure for the past it's almost going like 3 years now. So I can say I am a cloud expert. Yeah, so, but for my firm, it is actually the title for what I'm currently doing. So that's why I have the title cloud expert. But when it comes to cloud expert, well, you can also call it a cloud specialist, a cloud engineer. There are many names, or there are many titles you can actually give to it when it comes to this kind of role.
Okay, awesome. So this next question goes to Dara Ladapo. Yeah, Dara, being a software engineer and a cloud expert, this person would like to know if being a cloud technologist is an easy job compared to software engineering, or vice versa.
Well, I wouldn't categorically say being a cloud expert is hard, or being a software engineer is hard. I think what will relatively make it hard is the kind of problems you're working on. Any job is hard, any job is simple. It just depends on the context of what you're working at the time. There are some customers I work with, and within 1 day or even an hour, I'm done with them. And there are some, it takes 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks to actually get over a problem with them. And it's the same job I'm doing with them. I'm talking about cloud, talking about software. So it all depends on the context of what you're working on that determines the complexity of whatever it is. So I wouldn't say one is other than the other. It's just context.
Okay, awesome. So this question still goes to you. Think back to 5 years ago. Did you envision your career as it is today, 5 years ago? Adinka already asked this question.
Did I envision my career as it is today? I would say sort of, even though it's not the exact thing I thought I would be doing now, but I'm on the path of doing it. So 5 years ago, I was in the university rounding up my finals, and in 2020, I wanted to own a training school where I teach people about technology, software development and stuff. Even though I don't own a school today where I teach people this stuff, I do that through YouTube. I post content like every week. So I'm still doing what I wanted to do 5 years ago, just in another way. And some things are actually better than I thought they would be when it was 5 years ago. Because I was coming from, the kind of place I grew up in, my focus or expectation of the world was different. But when I got to work at Microsoft, I saw a whole new view of things, and it made things better for me. So yes, I didn't see myself here or necessarily here doing what I'm doing exactly, but I knew it was something that was related to it that I'll be doing, and that is what I'm doing.
Okay, awesome. So, Dawood, are you on? Dawood?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay.
So I was just enjoying all the chats going on.
Awesome. So this question is for you. So being a can you unmute your mic, Elias?
Yeah, I think I'm unmuted.
All right, awesome. So being a very young, there's an emphatic stress on that very. So being a very young individual and a recent awardee,
Graduate. Okay. Okay. Cool.
of the Microsoft's most valuable person award. I mean, this is so huge, and yeah. So this person would actually want to hear a bit of your story. This person has seen your works and everything you do, how you jump on tutorials every now and then, how you jump on workshops and teach people, your willingness and readiness to impact people. This person actually wants to know your drive, your passion. Why are you doing this?
That's quite a question. Actually, just to tell you that my current location, last week I left from the city, which is the Greater Accra region in Ghana, to a very rural area called Wale Wale. And yes, that is to mention what drives me, here and there with, passion. So I took up a role as a technical trainer, and usually you won't find someone who is like in the city working in a company and possibly taking other contracts, also accepting that, hey, I'll go to the rural area and then, teach these folks over there. But what really drives me is the fact that, you teach one person, that person teaches someone else, and then it keeps spreading that way. My current students I'm actually handling, just in a note that they haven't touched computers before. I made my survey and I realized that the recruiter recruited students who had never touched, a computer before. And they are also in the rural area, and because they are in the rural area, they don't have computers in their houses. But what surprised me is that most of them, I use iPhone 6. Most of them use iPhone 7 and 8, even though in the rural area, right? So these people are not really exposed to, technology. They don't know what is really going on. They have their phones in their hands, which is a computer on its own, but they don't know how to really utilize it, right? And me being a person driven by, technology, I feel like, I have a responsibility to the next person who doesn't know it to teach what I know to the person, all right? So really the passion that I have for technology, I really want to see people having the same passion. I don't expect it to be the same, but at least, people should be matching up or going above me, something like that. So I think that's what really drives me to, do a lot of events and then come up with, initiatives to inspire people, because I want to see people being really happy with what they are doing. Yeah. So that's pretty much what inspires me. My journey, my story is quite long. I would not like to go down to how I became MVP, but yeah, like you said, I do a lot of community contributions, try my possible best, either to help people run a workshop or run a workshop myself, either to, get people who can speak and train them, or I get to train myself. So stuff like that are the things that really, drives me as an individual. And yes, of course, being very young.
yeah, amazing. So are you able to taste more of Ghana jollof in that rural area? Just because you've always mentioned, I've been on the call with you for about 3 times now, and you've always mentioned Ghana jollof. I remember the last MSP Nigeria summit, you talked about Ghana jollof. Yeah. So do you have that chance? Are you having that chance now to also being in a rural area now?
Yeah. So like you said, I like jollof. So I left that rural area because I wouldn't be able to get the best one, and currently I moved to a better one, like a one which is more advanced than the city I was. I think I'm actually having some cool stuff over here. Yeah. So yeah, that's that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. All right. So just 2 more questions, or just one more question before we round up. So well, this question is not really directed, it's not addressed to anyone in particular.
Okay.
But how does the market rate Azure certification in regards to other cloud certifications? Anybody who would want to answer this? I think Dara would want to.
Yeah. Okay. So, how the market treats Microsoft certification compared to others, or Azure certification generally? So, what I'll say is, Microsoft is a very well-known company, one of the topmost companies in the world, if not the topmost, and it's a respected firm. Yeah, even though some people might say, yeah, they hate it because of Windows Vista and all sorts, but you cannot ignore the fact that it's a great company to work for. It's a great company that is recognized, and there's a value that they give to whatever product they produce. Windows, Office, Azure, any product Microsoft produces is top-notch. And if you say you're a Microsoft certified professional, you have a Microsoft certification, it means you've been able to prove that you know what you say you know. I've written a couple of Microsoft certifications myself, and I know the exams are not cheap. Yes, if you know what you're doing, they will seem cheap to you, but these exams are not cheap. You can't just decide and say, hey, I'll not the Microsoft exam without preparing for it. You have to really prepare and know what you're doing. Sometimes when I go to write the exam, I'm even scared that I might fail them, because I feel I don't know enough to go write the exam. But I finish writing the exam and I'm like, oh, so I really know this thing I said I know. So yes, Microsoft certifications are all held in very high esteem. If you put it on your profile today, just do a test. Tell folks that you're Microsoft certified in A, B, C, D. There are times I even get offers on LinkedIn, but because I love my job, I don't take up these offers. Where you're Microsoft certified, come do this training for us. We are looking for a Microsoft certified expert in this. Will you be able to do that? I'm like, hey, sorry, I love my current job and I'm ready to leave yet. So yes, it is very much respected. Microsoft certifications, very much respected. What I'll do anytime, any day, I'll at least any beginner level certification in Azure. The first thing it does for you is it makes you feel good about yourselves. That yes, I really know what I say I know, and then you can take it up from there.
Yeah. So true.
Just to add to that as well, goodness. One thing I've seen in Nigerian space is that when you have a Microsoft certification on your CV, it's like a boost for you. I've been shortlisted for some roles before, for some positions before, where for a job opening before, where I feel that the reason why I was shortlisted was just because I have a 300 and 301 on my CV. I have a friend, we applied together, and he's equally very good as well. And I just feel that day personally that probably that's what stands out for me. So most of the time, for you to get a job, I think in Nigerian space, what is going to give you an edge over others probably will be your certification. So it's also good. But then, even if you're doing certifications, try as much as possible to be very vast in that technology you say you're going for. So, but then, I feel certification will give you an edge in Nigerian space. Yeah.
All right, that's really awesome. So why sitting for exams and attaining certifications? You should also focus on the skill. Don't just attain certifications, don't just write exams and pass. Make sure you know the technical, make sure you know what you are actually doing, how to navigate around the technology. Thank you, that was really awesome. So is there some last words?
Absolutely. I think, just to add that, I mean, Microsoft has really huge impact on the globe, and just having the name Microsoft, right, attached to your documents is a huge plus. Take it, for instance, we being Microsoft's most valuable professionals, we being Microsoft student partners. How does it feel? And having a Microsoft just on your name alone, it's really a huge thing. And everyone knows, how, the difficulty level of the exams might be. And people are really, respecting it, because in my country, I realized even I think the institution I attended before going to the university, which actually trained me as a software developer, my teachers were once, that was 2014 or something, they were exposed to the Microsoft certification exams, and it was like, yeah, every teacher over there, instructor took that particular exams, and it was so proud to call themselves Microsoft certified professional. So actually just go for it. I mean, the Microsoft certification are that much of importance, just like Dara and everyone else mentioned.
Awesome, great. So we are really out of time. So I would just want, is there any last words you would want to say? Jim, Steven, Dawood, you just said something. Dara and every other person.
Well, yeah, just one thing to say, which is to everybody who's actually taken part in this call, community is such a good thing to have. Community allows you to learn and to grow. So keep being involved in events like this. Keep getting involved in your community. Keep trying to contribute to community. That will help you build your technical skills. That will help you with employability, and that will help you be a much happier person. So keep getting involved and keep giving back.
Yeah.
Okay, I would just like to say, keep automating and make your life easier for you.
Great, keep automating. I keep that.
So personally, what my input would just be that while you guys are while most of the audience, I would say, are probably still in school, try as much as possible to learn all that you can. Don't wait till after school. I won't say it's going to be too late, but then you might just be some steps backward. While you're still in school now, don't wait that there's strike. Don't wait that. Just keep learning. Learn as much as you could. When you get internship, even if it's not paid, go for them. That's just my advice.
Awesome. Dara?
So, in summary, Sean has already said, the main thing that was in my mind, you should keep learning. Learning really never ends. And also, as you learn, document your learning. This way, you are able to share it much later on, maybe as blog posts or videos. What helped me grow was because I was sharing my knowledge as I learned them in my journey. So learn, share your learnings, even if you feel it's not important, share it anyway. Somebody will read it and gain from it.
Yeah. Awesome. A round of applause. Yeah. All right. So we are 16 minutes past our closing time already, and we'll just round off in a bit. So I want to say a very big thank you to all the speakers that have actually created time out of their very busy schedules to grace this event, and to all our wonderful audience that stayed with us since the start of this stream, to those that joined in the course of the streaming, and to those who are going to watch this, of course, later. I want to say thank you, everybody. We really appreciate you. So I have actually jotted a few things down that I personally am going to work on, right? Because I am also a student, right? So I actually have jotted some stuff down that I'm personally going to work on, and see if I can leverage on those things to also improve myself. So a very big shout out to Jim Bennett, Dara Oladapo. Dara is a very amazing person. He's the ship dad. I said to myself I was going to say this on the live stream. So Dara Oladapo is the ship daddy for all Microsoft student partners in Nigeria. Yeah, he's our boss. And to Dawood is my very amazing friend too. To Sheon Babajide, wow. I've spent roughly 12 weeks with him virtually, and I want to tell you it has been amazing. It has been amazing so far. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Bashir Korede. He has been with us. He has been at the back end of the bootcamp right from the very beginning, right from the start. And he has also been with us right from the start of the streaming. Thank you to the MSP Inspire team. Thank you to Sundaricha from Indian, my very good friend, and MSP too. Thank you for creating time out of your very busy schedules to attend to us. So I'm gonna call it cut. I'm going to call it a bye for now. See you guys when next.
Yeah, bye. Shout out everyone. Thanks so much, Jim. Thanks everyone.
All right. Bye.
Bye.